Hi, and welcome to another episode of Inspiritment with Joe Kupka. It is the dead of winter here in Perth, and normally that's not all that significant. Pretty lucky here in Perth, the winters are very mild. But this year has seemed particularly cold and wet and miserable. And I thought I was imagining it. And then I heard this week that it is the wettest July on record for over 20 years. I've only lived in Perth for 20 years, so it made me feel a little bit better that I felt it a bit more this winter. It's not just my imagination. So as I've been sitting in beanies and hoodies and just trying to get cozy, wanting to stay indoors, I have been reflecting on some of my favorite things this winter, and I wanted to share them with you. I always love listening to a favorites list, so hopefully you can find a few gems on here as well, whether you are currently in winter in the Southern Hemisphere or, for my Northern Hemisphere friends, maybe putting this list aside for when it comes to your winter season. So to start with, we have the health and well-being category. Now, despite best efforts and all the extra precautions we're taking with, current pandemic times and all these things, my daughter and I have still seemed to battle multiple colds over this winter. For me, my voice is an important part of the work I do. When you're a podcaster and, on YouTube and coaching and leadership training and all these different things, being able to protect my voice is so key. And as soon as I've been sick, my voice gets really rough and I tend to lose it. So there has been something that's been really helping, and it is throat coat tea. I have some here. And it is, I don't know how to describe it. It puts like this coating on your throat and it is warm and soothing and it sort of lasts a little while. It really does help. So I have really been enjoying that. That has been super helpful. So the next thing on my list is more to do with sleep. So obviously we can think of taking care of our bodies with nutrition and exercise and all these good things. But I know for me, I am really guilty of not paying enough attention to my sleep and making sure that I'm getting enough sleep. And I have found over the last little while, as I've had some big projects on and a lot going on, that my mind has really struggled to settle into sleep. And there's lots of great options out there for sleep meditations, but the one that I've been using is on the Lectio 365 app. And they've just recently released a night devotion as part of it. So I normally use it for the mornings, but they've now got a night one. And it has really helped me just review my day, put things aside, and prepare for bed. And it has been so helpful in getting to sleep quicker and having a better quality of sleep by reducing my stress levels. So definitely look into something for yourself to help with that area. Another health favorite of mine over this winter has been baobab powder. And that might sound a bit strange. For me, I grew up in Zimbabwe, so baobab trees were all over the place and looking at the fruit, and we knew that it was good. But it's kind of, I don't know if it's the latest health craze or what, but you can get baobab powder in a lot of different places, and I'll have some links for all of these things in the description. But baobab powder basically gives a really good vitamin C boost. So I have been adding this to my oats in the morning, to smoothies. You can actually make this really delicious warm baobab powder drink that I've been having sometimes as well. And that's been a great way of just boosting those vitamin C levels, which can be really helpful for immunity over this season. And the final one on my list is the Frou Color Lip Balm. And this is the color Cherry Up, has been my favorite. I'm wearing it at the moment. And it's been great. And you might wonder, how does this fit in health and well-being? It's giving me that little pop of color that I really enjoy having, but keeping my lips moisturized. And I don't know about you, but keeping lips moisturized in winter can be a challenge. So this has been a great way of getting a bit of color while keeping them moisturized as well. So a bit of fun there. So the next category I wanted to share with you is activities. Now, I am quite happy in these cold, wet days to stay at home under a blanket, just stay cozy, don't make me do things. But I know that's also not great for my mental health. I do need to be getting out and experiencing new things, getting some fresh air, having fun with my family, doing some great things. So there's a few things that I have really been enjoying. And the first one, it's not really an out there, but maybe a mental escape, has been reading. I've been reading a whole lot of ebooks and novels. And some of that is from I got very spoiled on my birthday from my family. They all clubbed together and got me a Kindle Paperwhite. So I've been doing a lot of my reading on that. It's been great to be able to read without having like a whole lot of paper books sitting around. They're all on there, wide range of books to choose from, but I don't have the same distractions and dings on my phone and tablet Kindle app that I was using before. So that has been great. And shout out to my mum for making this absolutely gorgeous little cover for it. So when I take it around my bag, it's not going to get scratched up and dinged. So yeah, really beautiful little cover. So that's been reading, one of my favorite activities any time of year, really, but particularly good in winter. And the second one is we got invited with friends to go and play indoor mini golf. And I had not played mini golf indoors before, but there's a place here in Perth called Chilisaurus. And it's indoors, it's dinosaur themed, as you may guess from the name, and it's glow in the dark. And it was so much fun. So it was a week after we'd just had another lockdown here in Perth, so all the adults were in masks, but it was still so great to get out and about, see friends, have some fun. It was on a day where we were supposed to be at a conference as a family, and that had to be cancelled because of the latest COVID situation. And so it was great to just be able to get out there and experience something new, have some fun. And we found that on Groupon. And this is a really great way, and I often forget to check on there for activities and fun things to do as a family. So I've been making note to go on there and check a little bit more often and see if we can find some things to keep doing as a family. So that was a lot of fun. If you're here in Perth, definitely look up Chilisaurus. And the final activity we did was actually on my birthday, which is also in July. And we found a scavenger hunt around the Swan Valley. So the Swan Valley is a little bit away from where I live, but still in Perth, and it's sort of a wine region, lots of great food and restaurants, beautiful area out in the hills, greenery, it's just gorgeous. And so the scavenger hunt has been designed for families to go around different locations. It comes up on like a messenger bot. So you are interacting with these automated responses. They're giving you history lessons along the way. And then you're looking for these little tiles that have a code on it. And you put that code in to get your next clue, and it hooks into maps. So it navigates you to the next place. It was so much fun. It took up, a large chunk of the day, but just slowly moving around. We got to go to a chocolate factory and have some chocolate there, and great lunch at a few places. And it was just wonderful. Such a great way to just be a local tourist for the day. So if you're in Perth, look that up, the Great Valley Rally. If you're not in the area, look up some different things in your area. I had never heard of this before, but it's been around for a while. So check out what is in your city, what is in your area. How could you be a local tourist and explore something new? The final thing on my favorites list for this winter is actually a project that I have been working on a bit secretly. It started off as an idea just a couple of weeks ago, and it captured my imagination, and I worked on it, and it's ready to launch. Now, it's going to be a more long-term, ever-growing, ever-expanding project, but it's good enough to start. I have been getting a bit creative and playing around with some designs. Some of it is to do with quotes from my book, Stepping Up in Leadership. So I've taken a few quotes out of there, but also just putting a few other designs together. If you have ideas of designs you would like to see, let me know. But I have opened up a Redbubble store to be able to get those designs out onto some products to get into your hands. And the idea behind this, one, it's some fun for me. I really enjoy doing these sorts of things. But two, I want ways to keep encouraging you in your everyday. I know for me, those items I have, like phone covers and water bottles and different things that have sayings on and that sort of thing, really helps me in my day to be reminded of truths that I want to hang on to be reminded of perspective and language that I want in my life. So, this is my way of helping to get that into your hands as well. So, check that out. As I said, I'll have all the links in the description for you to check out. And you can also go on my website, joekopker.com, to be able to see that all as well. I cannot wait for you to check that out. So those are a few of my favorites this winter. I would love to hear from you as to what your favorites are. Put your favorites in the comments section of this video, and I'd love to check them out as well. Otherwise, you can find me on social media, Joe Kupka, at all the places, and share with me your favorites there. So I would love to hear from you, but I hope no matter what weather you've got going on, no matter what situation you've got going on, that you can find a few things that are your favorites, that bring you a bit of joy, that support your growth and your health, and you will have just a wonderful week. Take care.